How's it going, guys? I'm Connor from Running Warehouse. I'm here with Zach, Senior Product Manager at Hoka, and today we've got an exciting shoe. It's a shoe that I've been waiting to talk about for a long time because it's a shoe I've been testing. It's a shoe I've been running in. It is the next level of the super shoe world for Hoka. We've got the Rocket X2. Tell us about this shoe and how we got from that original to where we are today.
This is one a long time coming for sure, and we're super excited to have this pop in our lineup. This is one that, we've spent a lot of time focusing on the rockers, and combining that with some of the next level generation foams and plates is really going to help amp the Rocket to the next level. This is going to be that World Athletics maximum stack height legal marathon racing shoe that all of our athletes are in right now, both on triathlon and on the road, and they're super excited to have them on their feet.
Now, I've been testing a lot of the Hoka racing shoes for years. I remember coming down to Santa Barbara and we were tweaking different shoes, and I remember when the Rocket X1 came out, it was a great shoe, but it was missing one element, that super foam, and now we've got a fantastic addition with the shoe. Tell us about the foam that's in this shoe and what it's gonna feel like on foot.
It's going to feel soft, snappy, and poppy. This is a PEBA foam that's got a great, nice soft durometer to it, so you get some of that sink, but the resiliency really immediately springs back and gives you that extra bounce to it. So it really has that kind of next generation pop.
Yeah, I mean, I've already been testing. It feels fantastic, and it's not just the foam. It's also how that foam works with the plate and the geometries. First, let's start off with the plate. What is inside this shoe?
This has a split plate that follows a really aggressively scooped and rocker design. So you get some of that initial loading, and then the rocker really accelerates you off of that midfoot onto the toe off.
Right, and when we talk about geometries recently, I feel like it's being looked at closer and closer because it can completely change the feel of the shoe. Tell us about the rocker on this shoe and how it's going to aid in that propulsion for efficiency.
Toe spring comes up a little bit more, so you get that consistency all the way through, so you're not flexing the toes quite as much. And then we start that rocker even a little bit earlier, so you engage it just kind of at that mid stance as opposed to when you're starting to push off and when you're starting to kind of transition yourself forward. So it's that immediately noticeable, like, okay, rock and go.
Yeah. Now, moving on down to the outsole with super shoes, you never need too much outsole, just enough bite to get you through the race. Tell us how we ended up with this layout.
Well, you got some rubber there protecting the foam in the heel and those landing zones. We have a bit more of that stiffness that helps you to keep that pop from back to front, as well as some of those kind of more heavy rubber areas for that push-off zone. Medially, a bit more closed off and secure, more stable, and then a bit more adaptable on that lateral side, so you can get some of that resupination. And
from a net-based perspective, are we still looking pretty in line from the last version?
We're actually even a little bit wider here. So because we went up in stack height, we always try to have very wide, inherently stable platforms. So when you go up in height a little bit, we make sure that we push out the sidewall some so you have that stable platform. Especially, you'll notice forefoot is incredibly wide. And we don't waste too much. You still get some foam directly underneath the arch. So stable from front to back.
Now, finishing the shoe off, we got to talk about the upper. It's that last element to keep weight as light as possible. Yep. Tell us how we ended up with this setup.
Well, incredibly light ripstop upper, so just kind of focusing all the little details on weights. Just a little bit of foam to help you lock down the foot and get that heel fit. Very thin upper with a little bit of stretch to it, so you get that adaptability. And then it actually has a gusset that goes down to the liner, so you get that kind of lockdown race fit. And then just incredibly lightweight and thin materials for the rest of it.
Well, again, we've seen this shoe on the feet of the pros. We've seen it win some pretty high-profile races. Last question I have for you in regards to the athlete testing process. What were the athletes asking for when they were building this shoe, and how important is athlete feedback in the testing process?
Yeah, athletes are invaluable when it comes to a shoe like this because they're going to test it at its most pinnacle, like speedy end, right? So we got to make sure it can get put through the fastest paces. And they were absolutely asking us for a shoe that had that roll, had that stack, and had that pop that the PEBA foam is going to offer.
And of course, it's going to be at that World Athletics legal limit, so you're going to see it on race day. You're going to see it setting personal bests and setting records. Last question I got for you is, people are looking to get this shoe on their feet. When can they have it?
You're going to be able to get this in spring 2023.
Perfect. If you're looking to get the Rocket X2 on your feet, you can find it very soon here at Running Warehouse.